Have you ever felt a calling so strong, so clear, that it almost felt like a whisper from the universe itself? A mission that you knew, deep down, was meant for you? Now, imagine that calling was to do something terrifying. Something so far out of your comfort zone, you'd do anything to avoid it. This is the story of Jonah, a man who received such a call, and what happened when he decided to run. Our story begins in a quiet town where Jonah, a prophet, hears a divine command. The message is unmistakable. Go to the great city of Nineveh and speak against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. Nineveh was the capital of the mighty Assyrian Empire, a place known for its cruelty and power. For Jonah, this wasn't just a difficult task, it was a journey into the heart of enemy territory. The thought filled him with dread. He imagined the scorn, the anger, maybe even violence he would face. How could one man stand against an entire city steeped in corruption? Fear gripped him, tight and cold. Instead of trusting the one who called him, Jonah made a different choice. A choice to flee. Determined to escape his destiny, Jonah heads in the complete opposite direction. He makes his way to the bustling port city of Joppa, the sea breeze carrying the scent of salt and adventure. But for Jonah, it's the scent of escape. He finds a ship bound for Tarshish, a city at the farthest edge of the known world. To him, it represented the ultimate distance he could put between himself and his calling. He pays the fare, his heart pounding a nervous rhythm against his ribs. As he boards the vessel, a fleeting sense of relief washes over him. He descends into the ship's hold, finding a dark corner where he can hide from the world and from the voice he so desperately wants to silence. The ship pulls away from the shore, and as the coastline of his homeland shrinks into a thin line, Jonah drifts into a troubled sleep, believing he has successfully outrun his fate. But you can't run from a calling that's meant for you. While Jonah slept, the heavens began to churn. The clear blue sky turned a bruised, angry purple. A great wind rose up, lashing the sea into a furious frenzy. Waves, like liquid mountains, crashed over the deck of the ship. The seasoned sailors, men who had spent their lives on the water, were terrified. They had never seen a storm like this. It was unnatural, a tempest with a purpose. The ship groaned and creaked, threatening to splinter into 1,000 pieces. In their desperation, the sailors began to cry out to their own gods, throwing cargo overboard to lighten the load, doing anything they could to save themselves from the raging abyss. They were fighting for their lives against a storm that seemed to have a personal vendetta against their vessel. Amidst the chaos, the ship's captain stumbles down into the hold and finds Jonah fast asleep. "How can you be sleeping?" He yells over the roar of the storm. "Get up and call on your God. Maybe he will take notice of us so that we will not perish." Shaken awake, Jonah climbs onto the deck and sees the sheer terror in the eyes of the crew. The sailors, convinced this is no ordinary storm, decide to cast lots to find out who is responsible for this divine wrath. One by one, they draw their lots, their hands trembling. The lot falls on Jonah. All eyes turn to him, a mixture of fear and accusation. Who are you? They demand. What have you done to bring this upon us? Trapped and exposed, Jonah can no longer hide. The weight of his disobedience crashes down on him harder than any wave. With a heavy heart, Jonah confesses, "I am a Hebrew," he says, his voice barely a whisper against the wind. "I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. I am running away from him." Fear turned to awe on the sailors' faces. They now understood they were caught in the middle of a conflict between a man and his all-powerful God. "What should we do to you to make the sea calm down for us?" they pleaded as the storm grew even more violent. Jonah knew there was only one way to end it. His escape had endangered the lives of these innocent men. "Pick me up and throw me into the sea," he tells them, "and it will become calm. I know that it is my fault that this great storm has come upon you." The sailors were good men. They refused to sacrifice him. They rowed with all their might, trying desperately to reach the shore, but the sea raged against them, pushing them back. The storm was relentless, a physical manifestation of the broken command. Finally, exhausted and with no other choice, they realized Jonah was right. They prayed, asking for forgiveness for what they were about to do. Then they lifted Jonah. For a moment, he hung between the broken ship and the churning water. He saw the fear and pity in their eyes. Then they let him go. He plunged into the icy, dark depths. And as Jonah disappeared beneath the waves, a sudden, miraculous silence fell. The wind died down. The sea, just moments before a raging monster, became as still as glass. The sailors stood in stunned, reverent silence, their fear replaced by a profound sense of awe for Jonah's God. But Jonah's story was far from over. As he sank into the abyss, water filling his lungs, darkness closing in, he thought it was the end. But the call on his life was not finished. In the deep, a creature of immense size was waiting. A great fish, appointed for this very moment, swam towards him. It opened its cavernous mouth and swallowed Jonah whole. He wasn't consumed, he was contained. Instead of the end, it was a bizarre, unbelievable rescue. For 3 days and 3 nights, Jonah lived in the belly of this creature, in a world of darkness, surrounded by the sounds of the deep ocean. It was here, in the most hopeless place imaginable, cut off from everything, that Jonah finally stopped running. He had nowhere else to go. In the crushing, suffocating darkness, he began to pray. From the depths of the sea, Jonah's voice rose in prayer. It wasn't a prayer of escape anymore, but one of surrender. He acknowledged his failure, his pride, and his foolishness. He praised the very God he had tried to flee, recognizing his power over the land, the sea, and even life and death itself. "In my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered me," he prayed. "From deep in the realm of the dead I called for help, and you listened to my cry." He finally understood that salvation comes from the Lord alone. His running was over. He had hit rock bottom, literally, and in that place, he found not an end, but a new beginning. He accepted his mission. He was ready. And as his prayer concluded, a change occurred. The great fish, its task complete, swam towards the shore. It opened its mouth, and on the dry sand, it released Jonah. Blinking in the bright sunlight, breathing fresh air, Jonah stood on the beach, a man reborn. And then the voice came again, the same call he had heard before. Go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I give you. This time there was no hesitation, no fear, no running. Jonah obeyed. He walked the long journey to Nineveh, the city of sin. He entered its massive gates and began to walk through its sprawling streets, crying out a simple, powerful message. 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. He expected anger, mockery, and resistance. But something astonishing happened. The people of Nineveh listened. From the lowliest citizen to the king on his throne, they heard the warning in Jonah's voice. A wave of repentance swept through the city. The king of Nineveh stepped down from his throne, removed his royal robes, and covered himself in sackcloth and satin dust, a sign of deep mourning and humility. He issued a decree for the entire city, man and beast, to fast and pray. Let everyone call urgently on God, the decree read. Let them give up their evil ways and their violence. Who knows? God may yet relent, and with compassion turn from his fierce anger so that we will not perish. An entire city, known for its wickedness, turned back to God because one man, after running as far as he could, finally said yes. And when God saw their genuine repentance, he did relent. He had compassion and did not bring about the destruction he had threatened. Nineveh was spared. Jonah's story is a powerful reminder. You can try to run from your purpose, you can try to hide from your calling, but you can't outrun the plans laid out for you. Sometimes, the journey to answering that call involves a storm, a descent into darkness, and a moment of complete surrender in the belly of a great fish. But it's in those difficult moments that we are often reshaped and prepared. Jonah's experience shows us that even when we run, there is a path back, and that a single voice, finally aligned with its purpose, can change the world. What is the Nineveh in your life? What call have you been avoiding? Perhaps it's time to stop running. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the deeper questions of life. See you next time.